Okay, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the few last updates, and this is complaining on a very high level. But these last few devices, they just need a few things to make them perfect. So today, we're going to talk about a few things that we need on Fortnite Craft right now that would just make it absolutely perfect. Let's jump right into it. Alright, so let's start with the VFX Creator, and this device is like very, very good, right? We can create blood, we can create so many cool things, but there's one thing which is always annoying in Fortnite Creative, and that is creating stuff. Okay, wow, that sounded okay, I should say creating stuff over and over again. Yes, there's a way how we can basically save things and how we can basically look things up. For example, Spanky Sully made this amazing website where you can actually see all the VFX and can like pick and choose which one you want, and then you can just recreate them in Fortnite Creative. However, not everybody has the chance to first of all go to a different website because it's obviously a third-party thing, and not everybody can always use this website. But even I have sometimes to go back to the website, have to look the effect that I already created, and that is a little bit annoying. So I think the perfect solution for that would be if we would have presets in the VFX Creator, or basically in any device which have a lot of settings, like the Sky Dome, like the light device, anything like that. You have the effect working perfectly fine, and then we have to click save. And for example, we can go into a tab and then just go there, see the effects that we already created, and then the effect immediately applies to the device. That would be so helpful, not only in the VFX Creator, but as already said, the Sky Dome device has settings like that where we always have to look back, and there's not even a website for the Sky Dome device. So I think having a presets folder or where we can download presets from other people would be just insanely good. For number 2, I'm going to stay on the VFX Creator device because there's one little setting which I'm missing, and that is a lot more light options. The device is almost perfect. There's like almost anything that you can wish that is possible in Fortnite Creative 1.0. We already have a setting which is close to the one that I want in the customizable light, which is called the Rhythm preset. And in this setting, you can have very custom ways on how the light flickers, be constant, have a party mode, stuff like that. And I wish we had something like that in the VFX Creator device just for the light, so that we can have like fades, we can have like party mode, just like but just in the VFX Creator. Okay, so let's move on to things that we need in the prop mover. And I know this first one is something that I've seen so many times in my comments, and that is rotation in the prop mover, or just generally a rotation device. It doesn't have to be the same as the prop mover, but I mean, if it would be in the prop mover, then it would be just perfect. You could have straight lines, you could have rotation in these straight lines. It could be separate things, but just having rotations so something can spin, something can just rotate in different directions, that would actually be so helpful. And I'm not sure why that is not in the game. Maybe some of you guys remember that the prop mover was actually not meant to be released at that day, so maybe they had something in plan for it, but they just said, okay, let's do it, whatever, let's get the prop mover out and then we add the setting later. If we have that in the prop mover, like that is like almost Creative 2.0 in a nutshell, like, because then we can actually create genuine animations, we can create a general things walking, we can like I'm serious, there's no limits if we get rotation in the prop mover. Things that people create with the prop mover, just like it is right now, are already insane, but with rotation, this would literally change the entire thing. Speaking of animations, one thing which I really miss are ease in and ease out options. For those of you who don't know what ease in and ease out is, it's basically a way to make things more realistic. For example, when a car starts, the car doesn't start at full speed from the beginning and then obviously ends with full speed. The car starts very slowly and then gradually goes into like from 0 to 100 in like a few seconds, then keeps on 100, and then at the end it goes slowly back to from 100 to 0. We just could create a lot more realistic animations in terms of the movement pattern that they have, instead of having props to go from full speed from the start to full speed to the end. Number 4 is probably the second most requested thing when it comes down to the prop mover, and it is having a zone. So you cannot only attach one single thing, you can attach a lot of things, just like with the prop manipulator. You can put things into the zone and then it moves the entire zone instead of just moving every single piece. So I'm not 100% sure why it's not in the device. There could be multiple reasons. One could be because of the device obviously being released early. Maybe they had to still make it work properly, so maybe it comes at a later date, or maybe it's just not possible in Fortnite Creative, so that could be also a solution. But I think since it works pretty well in the prop manipulator, I think we generally have a good chance of getting that in the future. And the last thing that I really want to see with the prop mover is that it actually allows us to move the item spawners or anything that has to do with weapons. That is really something that I personally want to have in the game. I'm sure a lot of you guys want that as well. I'm not sure if that is possible because of the weapon dropping animations and stuff like that, if that would like bug out everything. But having an option to actually move the item spawners would be so amazing. Okay, let's move on to the water device. And I think with the water device, there's a lot of things which are amazing, but there's two things, especially with the water, that are missing. And one of them is, since we now have the water and we also have fishing, why we don't have the sharks? A few months back I was thinking that is not possible at all because like some kind of weird mechanics that are going on and there's like only spawns. And since we get the fishing device where we can actually fish, why not just replace that with the shark device? So we can have like the same kind of device, you can only place it in water and you can only have the shark swim in a radius or something, and then the shark does whatever the shark is doing. Because I feel like the water in itself, like if you just have like a huge pool of water, it's not really that special. But the thing that makes it cool is that you have the ability to fish, that you have the ability of sharks. And if we would have sharks in Fortnite Creative, that would just be the tip on the iceberg. Hopefully Epic considers doing that in the future and we can see sharks in Fortnite Creative. One last thing which I really want to see in the water device is that the water device can also fill and empty horizontally. Right now, if you flip the water device, it just flips back to the vertical and you cannot really do anything else than vertical. You can drain it, you can fill it, but you cannot do anything on the horizontal, which is a little bit annoying if you want to create something where like anything gets flooded. But if you want to have like some kind of flood coming in or something like that, having that only from the vertical is a little bit one-sided. But having this option for water storms would be so amazing if you could just fill the water in from the sides and it comes slowly in, closes in a circle, just like the water storm back in the days. I think the water device is almost perfect. There's like literally nothing I would change on this device besides that little one thing, that it can also drain and fill the water on the horizontal and not only on the vertical. Alright, this next one is something that I never realized before people created blood in Fortnite Creative, and that is that we can currently not send signals if someone is getting damaged. There's no way if someone just got hit by a bullet, if someone get hit by anything, that we send signals from that. And even for blood, that would be an unpractical use because we cannot technically use blood in Fortnite Creative because obviously it's considered gore, and Fortnite is a PEGI 12 game, so we cannot use that for featured maps or discovery maps. You can still use that option for a lot of other effects. For example, if someone gets hit, you can light up in like different colors or whatever, or you can apply a different effect other than blood. So I think having an advice or a device option maybe in the elimination manager or in the down button out device where we can have something transmitted when someone gets damaged or someone is healing, something like that. There's not really options for that at all. But there's no way to currently make it if someone gets a little bit of damage, like 10% damage, 10 HP, shield damage, whatever, there's no way to transmit any signals or send any signals back to the player. And the last and final thing is something that a lot of you guys will appreciate if that would be in a game when you play a lot with Henchmen, because Henchmen can currently not sit in vehicles, not in tanks, not in cars, and since that is in BR, why not also give it to us in creative? I think having tanks with Henchmen equipped would be a lot cooler than having just a tank sit there and wait for players to pick them up. You could have like literally story modes where tanks come in with like Henchmen in it, could fire at you, you can kill the tanks, and you know, it would be such an amazing thing. Sadly, currently it's not working. You cannot put Henchmen into any kind of cars or vehicles. I tested this out back when the Henchmen first came out in the normal cars. Monster Place recently tested it out with the tanks, and there's like sadly no way to do that. And I really would love to see an option where we can put Henchmen, or basically any kind of like maybe even the sentries, into cars and have them drive the cars, shoot from the cars, and just actually have them operate the vehicles. And that wraps it up for me. If you have any suggestions, maybe leave them in the comments. We can do like more videos. Hopefully Epic sees these and maybe find some inspiration from these videos. I also started streaming on Twitch, so if you want to come and hang out, link is down below, and I'll see you guys back in the next one. Bye!